And today we have a rare bit of good news from the world of compliance, especially for our dealer friends in the state of California. Recently, Governor Newsom signed a law that postponed the requirement to complete sexual harassment prevention training from January 1st of 2020 to January 1st of 2021. As you recall, that requirement is fairly substantial. It requires employers with more than 5 employees to perform 2 hours of training for supervisory employees and 1 hour of training for non-supervisory employees with respect to sexual harassment prevention. It's fairly complex. In fact, that's probably why the state postponed the implementation for a full year. Amongst the topics to be treated are sexual identity, gender expression, and who gets to use what bathrooms. All of these are somewhat open questions, so developing training content is a difficult task. The good news is, for California dealers, now you have another year to accomplish it. But that's not the end of the story. Just today, I got an email question from a dealership saying, where is it written we have to do sexual harassment prevention training at all? Why do we have to do it once a year? These are tightly related issues, both the heightened requirement in California and the lighter requirement everywhere else. Because whether or not it is required by law, such as in California or New York, it is absolutely required by common sense. I hear anecdotally, and have no reason to doubt, that the most common complaint against car dealerships as employers is sexual harassment or sexual discrimination. I asked one dealer, how often do you get these complaints? He said once a week. It was a big dealer group, but still, that's a high frequency. How do you defend yourself against claims of sexual harassment and discrimination? The first and best way, don't do it. Assuming you don't do it, how do you defend yourself against an iffy, a marginal, or a false claim? The best way I can think of is have a written policy that spells out what sexual harassment and discrimination are and that it will not be tolerated at your dealership. Give examples of the behaviors you're talking about. Also, create a written path towards resolution. If you have a complaint or if you have observed sexual harassment or discrimination, to whom do you report it? And if the person to whom you're supposed to report it is the alleged harasser, there needs to be an alternative path to resolution. Then you must have training. It needs to be accomplished as soon as possible upon new hire, and I suggest as a best practice that it be repeated annually. There are other things that can be trained and then retrained every couple of years, or refresher training on an annual or semi-annual basis. But when it comes to sexual harassment training, that's a different bird, and I recommend that you drive it home every year that this behavior is not acceptable. It's the right thing to do, and someday all of those training records could save your bacon. For Drop the Bow Tie, this is Jim Ganther. Thanks for watching.